there is pessimism, there is frustration, there is confusion, there is lack of understanding everywhere inside the club and outside the club. So Barcelona were able to not get a win against Valencia, and they ended with a scoreline of 1-1. The only player that was able to score in this match was Joao Felix. And it's very unfortunate for Barcelona to be in this position, because I think that Barcelona right now do need a win, just one win. We have been asking for this since right after the game against Atletico Madrid. We're like, okay, great, let's win this match against Atletico Madrid. Okay, finished, and let's continue to move forward and get more wins so Barcelona can go back to where it used to be. But we only went downhill from there. Barcelona have simply not been good enough. Now here's the thing, right? Let's go more focused on this match between Valencia and Barcelona. I think that Barcelona overall, as a collective, they played much better than the game against Girona, much better than the game against Antwerp. Barcelona were okay. They were solid. I think that defensively, they were amazing. I think that in the midfield, they were also amazing, right? We were able to create a lot of chances. I saw a lot of energy. I still think though that defensively, when we don't have the ball, the midfield does a very bad job, right? Frankie, Pedri, and Gundogan, they're not so great in terms of recovering the ball. I think that Frankie was the best one defensively out of all three, but we need much more. You can truly see that Xavi Hernandez is desperate and will be even more desperate moving forward on needing a true central defensive midfielder. The reason why we were able to cope without a true central defensive midfielder, right, post Busquets, was because we had Gavi. Gavi was the player that was the one to take the ball away from players, right? He was the one to intercept, to defend, win aerial duels, bring the intensity in the middle of the pitch. And now that we have lost not only our central defensive midfielder, Busquets, but we have also lost our energy in the midfield, which was Gavi. So we lost two players within a span of 3 to 4 months. And I know that, we expect for Xavi Hernandez to accommodate this Barcelona team and try to still bring a great defensive presence in the middle of the pitch without Gavi, without Busquets, but it is almost impossible because players like Frankie, Gundogan, and Pedri simply don't have the capacity to do that at a world-class level. We see them try, but they're not world class. That is just not in their ceiling. And so that is why we saw Valencia run through Barcelona's midfield with ease, with a lot of ease. They saw a lot of chances, as much chances as FC Barcelona, and that was basically the game. And one of the ways that Barcelona had to combat that, right, every time the ball was going through the middle, was for Araujo and Koundé to basically try and stop all of those attacks from Valencia. And I felt like Xavi Hernandez knew that. Like, he knew that the ball was going to go through the midfield very easy by Valencia, which is why he placed Araujo and Koundé as the main center back pairing. It's very interesting because knowing that Xavi Hernandez knows this problem, is he just trying to ignore the problem and trying to look for a solution somewhere else, which is the defense, right? Placing Koundé and Araujo as the pairing with Cancelo on the right back position is something to really think about, because maybe Xavi Hernandez simply has no other choice but to do that, right? He knows that if the midfield can't do anything to stop any counterattacks, he is just going to rely on Araujo and Koundé's defensive talent. So like I have said, those has been one of the problems for Barcelona, and in this game against Valencia, we created chances. We were very good, but that is what's going to lead me towards the next conversation is our attack. If you really think about it, our defense is really not that expensive. Like, Koundé was the only player that cost us more than 50 million euros, and overall it wasn't expensive. We have loanees, we have players who came in for free, and then if we look at the midfield, we didn't really spend a lot of money, right? Pedri came in cheap, Gundogan came in cheap, Frankie was the only one where it led towards us putting in a very big investment. But when we talk about the attack, that is where things do change, right? Because we spent a lot of money for Lewandowski. We spent also a lot of money for Rafinha. Our attack is the most expensive, and you would assume that when you spend a lot of money in the attack, you would get a lot of goals. You would get world-class finishing. But in the match against Valencia, we did not get that, and it sucks because we root for players like Lewandowski. We root for players like Rafinha. We want them to do well. It's not like we're out here saying, I hope Lewandowski misses 45 chances per game. I hope Rafinha gets injured and tears his ACL. It's not like we're trying to downplay these two players or any of our attackers, but they continue to disappoint. It really sucks because in this match, Barcelona created the chances, but only for Lewandowski and Rafinha to miss not almost all of the chances that Barcelona had. Joao Felix was the only one to score the goal, which is why I'm not really going to get on him. But even with him, right, I think that him and his defensive game needs to be much better. Like, I think that he needs to pressure more, not look lazy when he's trying to corner one of the opposition players into the field. Like, he needs to do much more defensively. But going back to Lewandowski and Rafinha, I simply just think that their focus is not not there, they missed so many chances. I remember Lewandowski made an amazing pass that led towards like one of the center backs falling to the ground because the pass was just so like just out of nowhere. And then Rafinha received the ball and all he had to do was shoot the ball accurately and score the goal, right? We paid 55 million euros for him to score stuff like that. Rafinha is a Brazilian 27-year-old experienced player, and for him not to score goals like that, it is just that's not it. Like that's really not it, because that's not going to get you nowhere. And that is kind of like another reason why I'm not going to be too mad on Xavi, right? I don't want to be too frustrated with Xavi Hernandez because I think that he got the players correct. I think that he got the best out of Frankie. He got the best out of the center backs. The full backs are doing okay, but the only thing that was missing, it was for Rafinha and for Lewandowski to finish those chances. And you know what sucks is that if Xavi Hernandez wanted to bring in a brand new player in January, like 2 or 3 brand new players to reinforce the attack, because he knows that Lewandowski and Rafinha are not good enough, he can't do that. You want to know why? Because Barcelona don't have the financial capability. They can't just sign whoever they want, right? You have Pep Guardiola out here saying, oh, okay, like this player is not playing well. Okay, cool. You're out of here, or you're going to be on the bench and we'll bring in a player from France, a player from Italy, a player from Spain. No problem. Let's spend 90 million euros on this player here. So much capability, so much financial stability. But with Barcelona is different, which is why I give Xavi Hernandez that ease, right? Because when I see the team as a collective be firm and they create and you see them running, but the only thing that's missing is like the finishing, I'm going to let Xavi off the hook because he did everything. He did his own work. But what was missing was for Lewandowski and Rafinha to put the ball behind the net, and we did not get that. Xavi Hernandez cannot say, all right, cool, Lewandowski's not good enough. Let's put in a different player. Let's go sign this player from the Premier League or from the French league, or let's go sign some right winger from Manchester City. Barcelona can't do that, you know? And like I don't know what else to say. That is just the reality. This is again another reason why I want the Super League to go through, is because I think that it's a great competition, and I think that Barcelona will benefit from this financially, like a lot. Like I don't know if you guys have heard, but not too long ago, a couple of hours ago, it was claimed that if the Super League thing does go through and it gets created, Barcelona and Real Madrid are both going to be receiving 1 billion euros each. 1 billion euros each. Not like within those two clubs, but each. And that is a lot of money. It has been said that if they receive that, it would also clear Barcelona's financial struggles forever. Like it is done. Like we're no longer going to be that club that says we can only go based off loanees and free transfers, or we can only spend 10 million euros on a single player. Barcelona will no longer be like that. And that is the thing that kind of just it irritates me, because it just doesn't make the game fair. Like how are we going to have other clubs out there just spending 400 million euros a summer, while we have another club like FC Barcelona, for example, being limited, being very restricted, not being able to spend no money, and then we end up facing those clubs and we're like, bro, like we only spent 5 million euros in the past like 9 months, and then you have your opposition, your opponent that paid like 900 million euros for their squad. I know that this kind of seems like it's not in tune with the Barcelona versus Valencia match, but this is the perfect example, right? Lewandowski and Rafinha right now are not good enough, and we're forced to continue to use these players. We're forced to do that. We can't go with some other solution. We're stuck with these group of players for a very long time. I don't know what's going to happen in the summer of 2024, but like don't get confused. Don't think that Xavi Hernandez is not doing enough to get results, because I think that he is. It's just that the player selection and our resources are really bad, and it's hurting the whole team overall. Like I don't know if you guys have noticed, but you know, when Joao Felix scored that goal, they weren't even celebrating. Like I think that they got confused because they thought that it was offside, but still, like no one really celebrated. The coach didn't celebrate. It was everything just felt super low. Like this team is just so uninspired that when they score a goal, they don't even believe it. They're like, no way, did we just score? No way, it finally happened. And that's why Joao Felix was looking at Rafinha and like he's just like, oh, like did we actually just do that? It happened so fast. But yeah, trust me, I think that Barcelona's biggest problem, besides their midfield and their defensive displays, it is their finishing. Xavi was right this whole time. He said that we're doing everything correctly. It's just that we need to bring in more effectiveness. We need to be more efficient. Like when we have those opportunities, you put those opportunities away. SofaScore also wanted to claim this. Barcelona is in first place when it comes to most missed big chances in the top 5 European leagues this season. Barcelona is in first with a total of 44. They have missed 44 big chances this season. Then they continue to say that despite Barcelona having the most big chances in the top 5 leagues this season, their big chance conversion rate is 31%, and that is only 76th best. And so that's just crazy. Like I literally have nothing else to really say, because it's the same problem over and over again. Now it's just a matter of, can Lewandowski wake up? Can Rafinha wake up? Can Joao Felix bring in even more than what he usually brings in? And most importantly, let's see if things change by January. This is why I also don't think that Laporta is going to do some drastic decision and say, okay, I'm firing Xavi Hernandez and I'm going to bring in this coach. I think that in January, when we have Vitor Roque in, let's see what changes, because that is the only thing that is missing. Now, I'm not saying that Vitor Roque is going to be a game changer and he's going to come over here and act like Lionel Messi. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he's going to be the cherry on top. I'm not going to say that he is literally the whole plate, right? He's not the steak of the full meal, but he'll be the cherry on top. He'll be the one that can come in and say, okay, I see where you guys are struggling, and the only thing that I can have to offer is for me to score goals. I just need the right output. I need the right service in order for me to score the goals. And I hope Vitor Roque can do that for Barcelona in order for Xavi Hernandez and Barcelona to prosper in the Champions League, in the Super Cup, in La Liga, and everything in between. But that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.